Assalamualaikum Miss Samira.
Oh, okay. Okay, all the best here, you all. Thank you.
Okay, bye Miss. Thank you.
Okay, so Miss off dulu, Miss punya kamera, eh. Okay, you all the best.
Assalamualaikum Dr. Shah.
Waalaikumsalam. Saya ada dekat luar ni, dekat hotel ada program. So, uh, panel dah masuk.
Panel belum lagi Doktor. Kita tengah.
Okay. So nanti kita start sebab VVIP start dia. Because petang ni kita ada convocation. So maybe we just start. Nanti MC you just buat some introduction and then bolehlah pas kat saya untuk bagi opening remark and then kita dah boleh teruskan. Okay?
Baik Dr. Shah.
Semua okay ke? Semua dah makan?
Dah.
So when you ready nanti just bagi tahu. Okay?
Baik Doktor.
Suara saya clear tak? Suara?
Ya Doktor. Ya Doktor
Okay.
Shah. Selamat datang Prof. Dr. Ihsan. Dr. Ihsan.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Boleh dengar suara saya tak?
Waalaikumsalam.
Okey. Bang Syah, apa khabar Bang Syah?
Alhamdulillah sihat.
Thank you
Apa
Bang
khabar?
semalam. Thank you semalam. Alhamdulillah sihat. Thank you dah jadi winner untuk Mikel tu.
Ya, betul.
Baik, thank you Bang Syah.
No problem. Macam mana Jakarta okey ke?
Okey, mai
Panas,
sini.
hujan?
Datanglah sini bila.
InsyaAllah nanti bawa tim Sasi ni.
Boleh.
Kita plan buat global outreach.
Boleh. InsyaAllah.
Thank you for support bro.
Thank you Bang, sama-sama. Okey
Okay.
je.
Selamat datang Mr. Hasrat Ali.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Mr. Hasrat, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So my mic is quite okay, can hear?
Clear.
Yes, Mr. Clear.
Okay.
Kejap ya, kita tunggu Dr. Syafri. Selamat datang Dr. Syukri.
Oh, terima kasih atas jemputan. Oh, Dr. Syah. Dr. Syah pun ada.
Assalamualaikum, Doktor.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Semoga sihat.
Amin, amin. Ini sibuk sikit ada program.
Oh, faham.
Oh,
Doktor Fajar ada ni. Encik Asrat ada.
Pagi ada, semua ada.
Assalamualaikum Prof Syukri.
Waalaikumsalam. Wah, Prof Syah ada, Prof Oka Fajar ada.
Prof Syukri pun ada. Sihat ke Prof?
Dari Jakarta. Alhamdulillah sihat.
Alhamdulillah.
Wah, ini semua macam satu alumni temuan.
Alumni ya? Kira alumni.
Alumni. Dr. Hazrat pun ada.
Dr. Asrat pun ada.
Ini sibuk sikit.
Ya, Dr. Syukri.
Oh, Doktor.
Assalamualaikum.
Oh, you, Singapore.
Okey. Baik je.
Dr. Asrat, sihat.
Saya nak cari tempat yang selesa sikit.
Amira, kalau dah ready, we can start lah.
Okay, baik Doktor. Sebentar.
Good evening, dear students. May I have your kind attention for a few important announcements. Before we begin today's program, I would like to invite guests to be ready. And all attendees are requested to switch all your device to silent mode as the program will begin shortly. Also, all students are reminded to fill in their attendance and feedback form at the end of the program. Please do not share the QR code with others who did not attend. Thank you for your cooperation and patience. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our esteemed and honorable guests, yang dihormati Dr. Muhammad Syukri bin Shoaib, Director of the UUM Institute for Indonesia, Thailand and Singapore, UUM ITS Malaysia. Mr. Muhammad Hasrat Ali bin Muhammad Ali, Senior Technical Lead Consultant, Becton Dickinson Private Limited, Singapore. Assistant Professor Dr. Muhammad Fajar Ihsan, Department of International Relations, Faculty of Humanities, Binus University, Indonesia. Dr. Ahmad Shah Pakir Muhammad, Club Advisor of Student Association of Southeast Asian Affairs, the line of Club Advisor of Student Association of Southeast Asian Affairs, the line of Head of Management Team of FSPPP. Yang dikasihi student representative, ladies and gentlemen. Dear esteemed guests and attendees, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam UiTM di hatiku, salam Malaysia Madani. Welcome to the international webinar, Inclusivity and Sustainability. Next, the attendees please prepare because we will sing the Negaraku and Wawasan Setia Warga UiTM songs together.
Bersatu kita warga UiTM, kita bangsa perkasa, taat dan setiaku untuk negara, penuh semangat wajar. Kita jangan mudah terlupa pengorbanan perjuangan anak bangsa. Kita jangan mudah terleka kemajuan keamanan yang ada. Kita berterima kasih pada pemimpin-pemimpin negara. Kita rasa penuh bersyukur kerahmatan kemuliaan darinya. Kamilah pendukung pewaris bangsa, kamilah penerangan bangsa Malaysia, kamilah warga berwawasan untuk negaraku.
Before we move on, let us begin with the recitation of doa that will lead by Nas Ashraf bin Muhammad Nazarul.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Allahumma farfil lana zunubana wal ihwani lazina sabakuna bil iman wa la taj'al fi qulubina ghillil ladzina amanu rabbana innaka ra'ufur rahim. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, praise be to Allah, Lord of the world. Let your blessing and your peace be on your servant and your messenger, Muhammad, and on his family and his companion. Allahumma Ya Allah, on this glorious day, in conjunction with our program, International Webinar Inclusivity and Sustainability, we hold hand to pray grateful to thank on your infinite favor to us till we can live in peace and harmony to perform our task as your servant. O Allah, we ask your blessing to make this occasion in success. Allahumma ya hayyu ya qayyum ya zal jalali wal ikram. You are the mercy of the mercies and you are the Lord of the universe. Give us mercy from your presence and shape us right conduct in our plight. We ask you for knowledge that is beneficial and sustains which is good and deed which are accepted. O Allah, help us to remember you, to thank you, and to worship you in the best of manners. Forgive us, have mercy upon us, guide us, give us help, and grant us sustenance. Allahumma ya Hafizu ya Rakib. O Allah, you are the most forgiving and one who loves forgiving. Therefore, forgive us and wish all the committee of this program a very pleasant and memorable event during this Eska Carnival. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amin. Amin ya rabbal alamin.
Amin Amin Ya Rabbal Alamin. We express our heartfelt thank you to Nas Ashraf for the recitation of Dua. Thank you everyone. Without further ado, I welcome Yang Dihormati Dr. Ahmad Shah Pakir Muhammad, Advisor of Student Association of Southeast Asian Affairs from Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies, to give an opening speech and remark on this program. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you, MCs. And Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Yang dihormati Dr. Muhammad Syukri Shumib, pengarah ataupun directors of the UUM Institute of Indonesian, Thailand and Singapore, UUM ITS Malaysia. Yang dihormati juga Dr. Muhammad Ashrad, Ashrad Ali and Muhammad Ali. Dr. Ashrad just finished his YWA last month and waiting for the Senate for the doctor award. So Senior Technical Lead Consultant, Picton Dixon's Private Limited Singapore. And yang dihormati sekali lagi my buddies, my sahabat, Assistant Professor Dr. Muhammad Fajar Isan, Department of International Relations, Faculty of Humanities, Venus University Indonesia, yang dikasihi Miss Jamila, co-advisor for the Student Association of Southeast Asian Affairs, along with me and also Dr. Jeniwati Jordi, and the line of club advisor, presidents, all the AJKs, all the members of the Student Association of Southeast Asian Affairs, management teams of FSPPP, dan tidak dilupakan yang dikasihi to all the student representatives today, ladies and gentlemen. So salam sejahtera, a very good evening to you guys. So it is my pleasure to welcome you all. It is a passionate and also visionary young leaders. So to this youth forum focus on a powerful and urgent themes on strengthening regional peace, stability, and prosperity within a framework that is in Singapore. Our three nations shares more than geography. So we share history, culture, and increasingly the dreams and ambitions of our youth. Today, your voice matters more than ever. In a world facing rising tension today, so with an economic uncertainty, and we also face environmental crisis, peace must go beyond just avoiding conflict. It must be built on understanding, empathy, and inclusion. Value that young people like you carry in your hearts and minds every day. Stability means creating society where everyone feels safe, empowered, and heard. You have the power to drive this through innovation, activism, and leadership that brings people together, not pushes them apart. And prosperity, it is not just about money and growth. True prosperity is sustainable, inclusive, and shared. It means creating opportunity for all, especially those who are often left behind. And you, the youth of Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore, are the change maker who will build this future. So this forum is your space, a space to connect across border, to share your ideas, your struggles, and your hopes. So speak up, ask the hard question, challenge the status quo because regional unity begins with youth-led action. So let today be a starting point, not just for discussion, but for collaboration that will shape a more peace, stable, and prosperous region for generations to come. Welcome again, and may your voice lead us forward. Thank you so much. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Dr. Ahmad Shafaqir Muhammad for the speech just now. Dear attendees, it is our pleasure to present a captivating montage video from the Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies. Let us immerse ourselves in their journey of excellence and innovation.
Welcome to the Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies, or FSPPP, University Technology Mara, UITM. Let us bring you to the journey into the art of administration and the power of policy. In FSPPP, we are committed to give the best to our students and all related parties. And it starts with the professionalism of our top management, academic and administration staffs. In line with UITM's vision and mission as a premier institution, we always strive to deliver our best. FSPPP offers all accredited programs, starting with its signature program, namely Diploma of Public Administration, widely known as DPA, which started way back in 1965. And now, after more than 50 years of existence, we are proud to offer 11 academic programs, 5 undergraduates, 5 postgraduates, and 1 professional program, the Chartered Governance Institute qualification, or formerly known as ICSA qualification. Pursuing a global network with our global university partners is the key goal of the faculty's future development. In 2021, a dual master program in Executive Master Administrative Science and Masters in Public Policy with University Airlangga, Indonesia was first offered as part of our internationalization initiative. As of now, the faculty has engaged with international universities in Thailand, India, Japan, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and Albania. As a distinguished institution, FSPPP continues to engage in research in the areas of public administration, corporate administration, public policy, politics, and international relations studies. In order to achieve its mission, the quality of students is FSPPP's top priority. In this faculty, every student is treated like family. And for the students, the faculty, be it at UiTM Shah Alam or UiTM Negeri Sembilan Seremban 3 campus, is like their home. Our students are actively involved in activities, whether organized by the faculty, UiTM, or even outside parties, locally and internationally. To make sure FSPPP stands tall with other institutions, especially in Malaysia, we collaborate with our industrial partners. As of now, the faculty has established collaborations with MISA, SSM, MAX, Department of Environment, and other government agencies. And with all initiatives delivered passionately in more than half a century, we are proud to introduce some of our esteemed and distinguished alumni. As of now, the faculty has more than 10,000 alumni serving various public and private organizations across the country. Therefore, the management team and dedicated academic staff welcome all potential students and collaborators to FSPPP. We assure you, here is the place you begin the crucial first step towards achieving your dreams in the world of administrative science. FSPPP, the art of administration and the power of policy.
We kindly ask all participants to turn on your camera at this time. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated to ensure a smooth and memorable group photo. To the Multimedia Bureau, please get ready to capture this screenshot. We'll begin shortly. I will now count down to give everyone time. In 3, 2, 1, smile. Let's take one more time. 3, 2, 1, smile. Thank you everyone for your cooperation, and thank you to the Multimedia Bureau for assisting with the photography session. Before we start with the main agenda, let me introduce our panelists for today. I will start the first panel, Dr. Muhammad Shukri bin Shoaib, who represents Malaysia in today's discussion. He completed his degree in International Relations at the University Utara Malaysia UUM, Master's degree in International Study at the University of Adelaide, Australia, and a PhD graduate of International Study from University Utara Malaysia, specializing in political economy. Now, he serves as the senior lecturer at UUM and the director of the UUM Research Institute for Indonesia, Thailand, and Singapore, UUM ITS. Next, our second panel is Mr. Muhammad Hasrat Ali bin Muhammad Ali. He holds a bachelor degree in manufacturing engineering and a master in management holding Best Student Award. Currently, he is pursuing a PhD in technology final semester and now serves as senior technical lead consultant Becton Dickinson Private Limited Singapore. And let me introduce our last panel, Assistant Professor Dr. Muhammad Fajar Ihsan, holding a Bachelor of International Affairs Management honor at University Utara Malaysia. He continued his Master of Science in Strategic Studies and received his Doctor of Philosophy in Political Economy, both in University Utara Malaysia. He has professional experience qualification as Assistant Professor at the Department of International Relations, Faculty of Humanity, Binus University, Jakarta, and Senior Lecturer and Assistant Professor at the Department of International Affairs, School of International Studies, University Utara Malaysia on September 2019 to 2025. Without wasting any time, I invite Nurfara Shamimi binti Abdul Aziz, our moderator, to lead the discussion. Please welcome. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Our esteemed and honorable guests, yang dihormati Dr. Muhammad Shukri bin Shuib, Director of the UUM, Institute for Indonesia, Thailand and Singapore, UUM ITS, Malaysia, Mr. Muhammad Hasrat Ali bin Muhammad Ali, Senior Technical Lead Consultant, Baton Dickinson Private Limited, Singapore, Assistant Professor Dr. Muhammad Fajar Ihsan, Department of International Relations, Faculty of Humanities, BINUS University Indonesia, Dr. Ahmad Shafaqah Mohamad, Club Advisor of Student Association of Southeast Asian Affairs, the Line of Club Advisor of Student Association of Southeast Asian Affairs, Management Team of FSPPP. Yang dikasihi, Student Representative, ladies and gentlemen, today we gathered some of the brightest minds in the field to delve into the international webinar, Inclusivity and Sustainability. Over the next few hours, we discuss significant issues, exchange ideas, and have engaging conversations. We encourage active participation from all attendees. So, please feel free to ask questions, share your thoughts, and interact with our esteemed panelists. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Nofara Shamin Bibita Aziz, and I will be your moderator for today's program. Our topic for this webinar is International Webinar Inclusivity and Sustainability, which further strengthens student knowledge to assess the progress and challenges of Malaysia's economic integration as a leading member in ASEAN for the year 2025 and its impact on regional unity. This topic will address issues such as different political systems, governance styles, and human rights standards among member countries. Therefore, this program is designed to help students gain a better understanding of current issues and apply them creatively. Let us make the most of this opportunity to learn from each other and contribute to the collective pursuit of excellence. We start by inviting each panelist to share their initial thought on the topic, followed by a moderated discussions where I pose questions to the panelists and facilitate their conversations. Toward the end, we'll open floor for questions from the audience, both here and virtually. Without wasting any time, I would like to invite our first panelist for today, Dr. Muhammad Shukri bin Shuib, Senior Lecturer of International Studies, University Utara Malaysia, UUM, and the Director of UUM Research Institute for Indonesia, Thailand and Singapore, UUM ITS. How are you doing today, Doctor? Sorry, Doctor. Can you open the mic?
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good day to everybody. Thanks so much for inviting me to this occasion. I hope that this program will enlighten more about ASEAN, of course, and we will discuss further after this. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Let's start our discussion with your opinion on our topic. Be an expert in this field. Perhaps you can share your point of view on the team Malaysia's role as ASEAN chairman in navigating challenges and fostering unity.
Thank you so much, Madam Chairperson, for this session. And I'm so happy to see that all my friends are here together with Dr. Ahmad Shafaqah, the Dean himself, and all the distinguished guests, Dr. Hazrat and Dr. Okka Fajar Ehsan from BINUS University. I'm delighted so much to be here at this session to talk about ASEAN, especially during the time where we are in the highlight of ASEAN Summit. Yes, ASEAN Summit for 46 times already. ASEAN Summit. It seemed to be like we are in the golden time to discuss on this matter because all the world leaders are here. I think Putrajaya and Kuala Lumpur, and I think also Shah Alam and also Saramban will be affected by this occasion. And then all the leaders of the world, especially in ASEAN. We are in the ASEAN is the diplomacy magnet. of the world itself in terms of geopolitics, current geopolitics. Of course, since Trump took place as a president, and we see the rival between Trump and the world, not only Trump and China, but Trump and had given an impact to the world already. We're talking about globalization. Now, one single person can change all this via what? Policy. That is why our occasion now today is very important to discuss on the matter of geopolitical strategy and the policy of adaptation to what had been done by and suggested by the policy in the White House, especially during the Trump era. It is the Trumpization, the process of Trumpization for these 4 years. It is a great challenge ahead for us, especially us in Malaysia. So how we mingle with this, how we going to adapt all the policy and all the what so-called current either there is a retaliation between countries about what had been suggested by US itself. So ASEAN itself is a magnet of diplomacy, whereby we can see the growth of ASEAN itself from Mapilindo and many former ASA, even ASA, Association of Southeast Asia, Mapilindo, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, and then we form ASEAN during the time of Cold War. At that time, Cold War. After Second World War, the historical fact we never denied that after Second World War, we faced another turbulent years ahead at that particular time, whereby we have to face either you have to choose your ideology. Every issue of the country, every issue of the nation in the world never escape on this phenomenon at that particular time where we have to choose either democracy or communist. If not communist, it seems to be like a mixed policy, pragmatic, more pragmatic, they call socialist. Yeah. So either democracy or communist at that time. So we face another war. It is a proxy war that we call Cold War. I think to discuss about this Cold War, ASEAN and also several countries, especially East Asia, are still affected by this event, by this phenomenon. Even if we can see that even ASEAN as a magnet of diplomacy, we established ASEAN during the time of Cold War, very turbulent years. We also face a great danger at that time. That is why ASEAN at the first phase, they consist only a democratic country. What so-called democratic country consists from Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, as a member of the association, and prolonged after 1919, then the mainland Asia from Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. Even though Vietnam and Laos is seen as a communist country, their ideology is still communist until today, but we can mingle in a good term of diplomacy itself, and they are not so aggressive. That show to us that with the intervention by US, then what happened there in Vietnam, we heard about and we learned about Vietnam War. Vietnam War, where Vietnam is before they have North Vietnam and the South Vietnam. North on the communists, and the southern part of Vietnam, they embrace democracy. So they became a proxy to the Western world at that time, and US are there to assist those democratic regime of government in the South. It is not Ho Chi Minh City at that time. They call it Saigon. Kopi Saigon. Where is Saigon? Nowadays, Saigon being renamed as the Ho Chi Minh City. Who is Ho Chi Minh? Ho Chi Minh is the founder of Vietnam itself after the colonization of France at that time. So they're split between two countries. Then they're able to reunify Vietnam. But sadly, it being reunified with blood and tear. So there is a war between both, between siblings, because by ideology, they have the same culture, they spoke the same language, they eat the same food, and their face is similar between North and South, but the difference that makes them to go to the battle, to fight each other, to kill each other, is because of the proxy war, because we had to face a challenge at that time, either democracy or communist. So the southern part, the democracy, they call, and then it bring a great impact to US itself and the Western world, where they defeated, and the unification of Vietnam under communist as the democracy, the ideology of the state until today, and Laos even the same. So we face a, you know, and now when we embrace, even we embrace the concept of consensus and compromise. We respect each other. You want to be communist, so that is your choice. That is your choice. Malaysia choose to be a democratic country. So we have our own system of democracy, and we embrace our system, and we stay and we live with prosperity and longevity. So we would like to maintain this. So there is a rival between ideology. Even you see Korea until today, they are never reunified. Korea, the DMZ, demilitarized zone in between the north, the Democratic People Republic of Korea in the north, and Republic of Korea, which is a democratic country in Korea, Seoul. You remember, you do like K-pop, isn't it? To watch K-drama, K-movie, K-drama, K-pop. That is the southern part of Korea. Seoul, Busan, and Jeju, and many other places. But in the north, so they are Korean, the same like Vietnam. But they still, even though there is policy, sunshine policy, they have a ministry called a reunification ministry, but they are not able to do it successfully with peaceful means. So they have a very, very tight security in the border, and they are still hostile between each other. They cannot enter each other's side freely. So ASEAN, even though in East Asia they have a modern style of governing country like South Korea itself, like Japan, a very advanced and highly sophisticated industrial country. And they are very a rich country, more than $1 trillion of business. Japan have, and also they have China. China is the Republic of China in Taiwan. There is two China. There is a one country, two system, they call it. And there is a Republic of China in Taiwan until today, established by Dr. Sun Yat-sen, the legacy of Dr. Sun Yat-sen, and contribute by them after the defeated of Kuomintang under Chiang Kai-shek at the time. So 1949, they established a republic, not established Republic of China, but they have to take shelter in Formosa Island, and Republic of China itself are there in Taiwan and exist until today. But we never recognize Republic of China, but we have de facto ambassador there in Taipei. So we recognize People Republic of China since 1949, established by Mao Zedong. So there is a great communist country there in China, in Vietnam. In China, Japan, Republic of China, Republic of China in Taiwan, Korea, South and North, there doesn't have any single association that can bring them together to discuss the regional policy. That is their challenge. Even they're highly intelligent, sophisticated person, but they never learn how to compromise, how to come together into consensus, to integrate. They focus on what? In terms of ideology, because of their burden. In Second World War, what happened between Japan, when Japan they call jingoism. They practice the jingoism concept, and they became so brutal They advance in Korea, they advance in China, they advance in Taiwan, they advance in Southeast Asia itself, and they became an empire at that time. Up until Nagasima and Hiroshima and Nagasaki are being, brutally bombs by US and Western country, and but they never learn how to accept each other and never, not able to to refocus their mind into looking ahead. But they're still being burdened by the history during the Second World War and prolonged of Cold War. Even though there is no more Cold War in Europe, Warsaw Pact had already collapsed, Soviet Union already collapsed, but the legacy of the Cold War, the legacy of the negative impact of the Second World War are still there in Japan, China, Korea, South and North. But in ASEAN, even though we have a different kind of ideology practiced by each country, each member have their own style of governing, and administration. They have their own ideology like communist and democracy. And then we have a monarchy, absolute monarchy like in Brunei. Even in Thailand, they are kind of dictated by the monarchy. The monarch is still there. Cat, Saksana, Prakasat, the term of ideology, the religion, nation, and the king. They cannot talk about bad thing of the monarch over there in Thailand. So the active involvement of military there in Thailand and in Myanmar, even in Cambodia. So even though there is a quite complicated in terms of governing every each of the state in ASEAN, but in terms of regional stability, from Indonesia, from Brunei, Philippines, Malaysia, up to Myanmar till Vietnam, we can stay together and discuss. And we still respect the concept of non-interference. Non-interference. That is the concept that success us. And plus with what? With consensus and compromise. We never in ASEAN, head of state, never made any decision based on voting system. There are no voting system in ASEAN Summit. To discuss between head of state, for example, between the head of executive in ASEAN Summit, ASEAN Regional Forum or what, there is about talking about consensus. You have to find a consensus voice. There is no such thing of majority and minority in ASEAN. That is ASEAN way. They call ASEAN way. This cannot be understood by any country, especially from the West, because this is ASEAN way. That is our culture. The native culture of ASEAN itself. There are they must come together with consensus and compromise and non-interference. That is the concept and principle. Concept that must be upheld as the prime element in negotiating with ASEAN countries and ASEAN as the regional itself. So what happened there? ASEAN became a golden triangle between East Asia, and also we can see that there is a problem between India and Pakistan. These early years, India and Pakistan in Kashmir issue, for example. So what happened there in South Asia also we have a problem, because there is a partition between India and Pakistan, because of the British had announced the independence of India, but they have to split India. The partition, they call it partition. At that time, when who is the viceroy? Lord Mountbatten. Lord Mountbatten is the last viceroy of India. They call at that time the Queen Victoria as the Empress of India. From Pakistan to Bangladesh, whole India are governed by British, and then the British Raj, they call the British Raj. So the end of the British Raj, the last viceroy of British viceroy in India, there is Lord Mountbatten. So their partition, there is an East Pakistan and West Pakistan. Now East Pakistan, we call Bangladesh. They form a government over there. They isolate themselves from West Pakistan. So there is Pakistan and Bangladesh. They call Muslim majority territory. They form an independent state and similar status to India itself. So they cannot come into compromise and consensus. They have Bhutan, they have Nepal, they have Sri Lanka, they have India, Bangladesh, they have Pakistan, they have Maldives, even Maldives, near 100% Muslim there in Maldives, and they never come into compromise. Even they have association, South Asian Association, and the HQ in Nepal, but they cannot come together and discuss together nicely and peacefully compared to ASEAN. So ASEAN is magnet of diplomacy. If you talk about ASEAN, it's about never ask about the retreat, surrender of ASEAN, but we move ahead from several states to near to complete with the join of maybe Timor-Leste will be the complete ASEAN, Southeast Asian country to be a member of ASEAN itself. So ASEAN is in the Golden Triangle area between the East and the South Asia. East and the South Asia. East, China, India, and the South Asia. South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. And then at the southern part, there is Australia. Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and the several tiny states over there, Micronesia. So we are in the middle of what unique about ASEAN is we have a Malacca Strait. Malacca Strait every day is about 90,000 ships entering the strait. It's like a similar status to Marmara and Bosphorus Strait in Turkey, Aegean Sea, Marmara and Bosphorus in Turkey to Black Sea. Yeah, the volume of the traffic is quite similar, and similar to Suez Canal or Panama Canal. So Malacca Strait is the golden strait actually in maritime. When study maritime, there is a heavy traffic there in Malacca Strait. That's a joint effort, of course, between Malaysia, between Indonesia, and also Singapore to well govern this Malacca Strait to make sure there is a safe and security there in those straits. And we applied what? You do remember Second World War, and then come Cold War. Cold War, we have to choose ideology between communist or democracy, and then come together with what? We embrace consensus and compromise. We embrace non-interference. It's make us mature. And that particular time also, we had come and introduced another concept that called ZOFAN, Zone of Peace, Freedom, and Neutrality. That is why in case of South China Sea, the aggressiveness of China itself toward the South China Sea is very important. It is a trade between Japan, Taiwan, China itself, a logistic hub, and they're full with resources over there, natural resources, especially oil, gas, that make China more aggressive, because China is seemed to be a deadlock state. in terms of what? They have vast of land. China, mainland China, from Hong Kong, Macau, from this from the Yellow Sea, they have vast of land over there, till Xinjiang, till Tibet. But their lack of sea territories, because they're deadlocked, because they have Shinjuku Island. Shinjuku Island or Ryukyu Island, there is a split between Japan and China. They claim that particular territories together with Republic of China, Taiwan. So South Korea, Japan, and Republic of China in Taiwan are under guarantee of security by US. In Taiwan, they have what? Taiwan Relation Act, the act that bound an obligation of US to help Taiwan, to help Republic of China to still establish until today. There is an act international by Congress, by US Congress, they call Taiwan Relation Act, to secure Taiwan until today. It's like an insurance, security insurance of Taiwan. So Japan are still under US protection until today. Even they have Japan self forces, they're only allowed to spend no more than 1% of total GDP of Japan. Now total GDP of Japan are near to, if 1%, near to 200 and 300 billion dollar. So they are advanced. But US will make sure the security of Japan itself under the terms, and the terms made by General Douglas MacArthur. When you study ASEAN, when you study East Asia, you must study on General Douglas MacArthur. General Douglas MacArthur is the one who fight against Japanese in Philippines and till Australia, and he governed Japan and also South Korea. Incheon. We can see that there is a operation, not Valkyrie, there is a Chromite operation to take over Seoul at that time, led by General Douglas MacArthur, center in Japan. So Japan, General Douglas MacArthur is an important person to be studied by, if you study about ASEAN and East Asia itself. So ASEAN come together with Zofan. This Zofan show the manifestation whereby our leader, the founder of ASEAN itself, until today, accept this concept of zone of peace, freedom, and neutrality. So what to be focused? All this, when there is a geopolitical dilemma, contribute by the Trumpization and what happened between India and Pakistan, what happened there in East Asia, for example, the retaliation of China toward US, retaliation of China toward US. But I said to several of my colleagues, why we are so worried about what happened between China and US? Because Malaysia and ASEAN are still a good partner to US, and of course China itself. So what happened between US and China, let them settle it. But in Malaysia, what happened is we focus on high advanced technology. America, the United States export our chips, semiconductor. We are not China. China is like a kind of, they supply bags, they supply shirt, t-shirt, everything pans, like a grocery product and then warehouse product. We in Malaysia and of course ASEAN, when we trade each other, we are what? We are focused more on advanced technology like chips, like what happened, the end product of rubber and also palm oil. All these resources be taken by US company, and we are not focused on retail sector. It's not about retail sector like China did. China focused on retail sector. Even now they said that top brand like Prada, like Hermes, like Gucci, Tommy or what, made in China. Even Calvin Klein, Lacoste or whatsoever lah, the high brand, they said be made in China. Claimed by the Chinese company there over there. So this is like they are more focused on supplying a retail sector. But Malaysia, that is why when China would like to, they spend a lot in Mexico. One of the state in Mexico there is like a little China, little industrial zone of China in the border between US and Mexico. So we focus in advanced technology. So chips, when we US would like to to use our supply of chips toward robotic industry. Even if you produce Tesla or you produce advanced technological product from US, they still need chips from us in Malaysia. Either you choose from Malaysia or Taiwan. China are not so advanced in making chips. That lucky us, because we have to produce chips is quite sophisticated. It is a sophisticated product. Not many countries are able to do so. There is I don't know how the industry works, but Malaysia are managed to secure this. This became a prime product of Malaysia, and this product is a diplomacy based toward bargaining between US and Malaysia and also ASEAN itself. So that is the uniqueness of ASEAN itself in the geopolitical dilemma, especially under Trump and the retaliation between Beijing toward Washington policy itself. So I think I have enough time, is it, to discuss on this. So do remember that we have to manage well what happened in the Trumpization era. We have to manage our infrastructure well to advance our industrial sector to be a high, what so-called high-tech industry, to be focused more on, to focus more on retail, and we have to enhance a food security aspect, infrastructure aspect, of course. We have to advance our infrastructure aspect, and mineral resources. Governing mineral resources is very important, and also green energy. And we have to also focus, even we want to become an advanced state, advanced nation, we have to still eradicate poverty, became number one and essential aspect as a fundamental right for every Asian population here. So eradicating poverty is one of the important things that we have to champion it. So I think Malaysia, and as the chairman of ASEAN itself, will come forward with all the member state of ASEAN itself, especially from Indonesia, because we have friend here, Prof. Dr. Oka Fajar from Indonesia, and also our friend Dr. Hazrat from Singapore. Will join force together to make sure that even there is a retaliation between China, Trump, China, US, or whatsoever, but we still maintain and focus our region to be in the mode of prosperity and stay longevity. That is the way. So with that, do remember that ASEAN is the magnet of diplomacy in terms of geopolitical arena of the world itself. So this is the miracle of ASEAN. We have to, we have uh, uh, to feel good, to be a citizen of every country that join ASEAN as the regional framework itself. So I hope that this presentation by me will give uh, a few things to discuss and to things. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Um, Thank you for your insightful presentation, Doctor. Okay, we can summarize from Dr. Muhammad Shukri sharing that. You shared to us about history of diplomacy itself from Vietnam War, that Winkle cycle, and then South Korea, North Korea, Republic of China, India, Pakistan, Thailand monarch, that active involvement in Vietnam and Cambodia, and also you informed that East and South Asia is a golden triangle. In ASEAN, we also respect the non-interference concept. So there is no voting system here because ASEAN has their own way and their own culture. So Malaysia also focuses on advanced technology such as palm oil, semiconductor, and chip, different from China that focus on retail sector. Okay, so we also need to manage our specialized sector well. Okay. Now, let's move on to our next panelist, Mr. Muhammad Hasrat Ali bin Muhammad Ali. How are you doing today, Mr.?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for inviting me for this session where the challenging economy and career readiness in ASEAN Singapore perspective, which is a good platform for the student and the panelists, chairman to learn about. So let me share a slide so that you can have a look.
Okay. Thank you for joining our discussion. Can Mr. Hasrat share with us your point of view on the theme challenging economy and career readiness in ASEAN from Singapore's perspective?
Okay, can see my slide, right? The chairperson, you can see my slide?
Not yet.
Is it available?
Yes.
Okay, so as we all know, the challenging economic and career readiness in ASEAN, Singapore perspective. Okay, so the economic in Singapore have the GDP growth grew by 4.0% in 2024, driven by a turnaround in export, especially electronic sector and domestic demand. So Singapore has the highest GDP per capita, about 92,930 as per last year record. And this is significant higher than other ASEAN country, reflecting its advanced economic status. So Singapore continues to excel in a high-value sectors such as finance, technology, manufacturing, and other industries as well. So this country also is a major hub trade and a logistic in the region. So there's a few challenges that we face in Singapore, such as technological disruption, where with the rapid adoption of AI, previously we are more on what we call traditional methods and move on to the automation system and are now coming into AI. So this is the challenges to adapt to the new technological disruption with a lot of effort need to be put in terms of learning, education, and methods to implement it. So some other problem is like skill gaps, demographic changes, global trade. It might play a role like skill gap. Like we in Singapore, we need more outsiders to come and support our economy. We need more people from like Malaysia, Indonesia, China, Philippines, and neighboring countries to support the local labor. And the demographic changes are like Singapore are dealing with aging workforce. So more people who are aging will leave the industries or workforce, and then they might need to replace with a new talented people with technology adoption. So this is among the challenges in the demographic changes. So like for global trade uncertainty, we need more global people to come into Singapore to work and having technology changes like the technology in the US, in China, which can adapt in Singapore so that Singapore people and those who are working in Singapore can learn and adapt the technologies to be competitiveness in the market. So for the labor market pressure, example, labor market pressure is like for newcomers, the salary range in Singapore for a graduate is about 3,000 Singapore dollar. So when we hire from outside, how much does it cost for us to hire from outside? Maybe $2,000. Cannot give same like Singaporean for the price for those who are coming from outside to maintain the competitiveness level. So it might be rational for us to give 3,000 for the fresh graduate in Singapore and $2,000 for those who are coming from outside with a good technological and capabilities. So for like from Malaysia, when they came into Singapore and work, the $2,000 will become like when convert become 6,600 ringgit Malaysia. So the inflation concern also play a role where currently the trade war happening between US and China and the increase of the tariff and also the issues that we are trying to overcome among the political issues in Singapore. So for career readiness initiative, what does the Singapore government do? The Singapore government try to reskilling and upskilling the labor market to ensure the economic is stable and competitive. So skill Singapore, they are having a like digital skill, analytical skill, soft skill, and the government awareness program to play a crucial role in informing employees about the valuable future skill. And Asian collaboration led by Singapore with Malaysia, Indonesia, and a neighboring country. Why it is important, I say about Malaysia and Singapore is because they are the nearest to Singapore. And the talent that we get from Malaysia is much more competitive and upskill so that we can adapt them to Singapore and use the talent so that the labor workforce issues in Singapore and skills Singapore can be improved together. So for foreign talent, like Singapore continues to balance the need for foreign manpower to mitigate the effect of an aging and shrinking workforce. So in Singapore, we have a strategic initiative like Skill Future. Skill Future is a training platform, something same like Malaysia implementing Human Resource Development Corporation training and upskilling program. So this is something similar to Malaysia, where Skill Future allowed Singaporean or those who are working in Singapore to choose their interested course to learn. This is borne by the government to ensure that there's a continuous learning from the workforce and people from Singapore. Even though those who are 50 plus, 60 plus who are retired also are given a budget to ensure that they have ongoing learning for their skill future. So Future Energy Fund, this is the fund that they contribute from the government to the entire Singapore to ensure that there is no barrier for the education in Singapore. I mean, everybody keep on upgrading their skill and knowledge, whatever it costs, to ensure that they meet the demand of the government policy. And another strategic initiative is Johor Singapore Special Economic Zone. I think a lot of people know about the program that ongoing between Johor and Singapore Economic Zone, where there's a lot of sharing knowledge, technology, and talent as well. So this is an ongoing program, and I hope that this program work well, which will benefit both Singapore and Malaysia overall. So for Malaysian working in Singapore, there's benefit and challenges. Their benefit, of course, the higher salary, because currently we are times by 3.3, which if you are earning 1,000, your salary will become 3,300 ringgit. If 2,000, 600 ringgit. And if $3,000, which is average salary, will become your salary for 9,900 ringgit. And the career opportunity in Singapore, of course, it is near in a geographic wise. So the opportunity for Malaysian to work in Singapore is much more open, and also Indonesia. But the opportunity is more given to Malaysian because they're able to commute daily from Johor to Singapore. So this is one of the reason, and we have enough skills workforce that able to supply to Singapore. So that is the career opportunities, and even though it's a fresh graduate, they are offering a job there, and they might be able to improve their career and skill with the skill future program that I mentioned just now. And of course, quality of life. Quality of life will improve when you have money. Everything will be good, as I know. So for you to learn, to upgrade yourself, first, once you graduate, you might need to get your first job first. Then you learn from there and upgrade yourself for the future of yourself. So the challenges that we face in Singapore is a high cost of living, where a room might cost you $900 for rental. So if you're sharing, it become like $450, which costs you about 1,350 ringgit per person. It's only a room rental with sharing. And work culture, you will work with diverse people from China, Indonesia, Philippines, and the work culture will come with barrier in language. So barrier in language means you have to ensure that you are able to communicate in English, which is a standard language that we use in Singapore. And of course, for ASEAN country, those who are working in Singapore, the separation from family is a part of a work-life balance that you need to face to ensure that family and work can be balanced. There's a lot of people who get support from their families who able to work in Singapore and to improve their lifestyles, to settle their problems, so that that kind of people all are always been appreciated by Singapore government and us as a management team. So overall, while working in Singapore can be financially rewarding and offer great opportunities, it also comes with challenges. Okay, so there's nothing easy when you want to start a thing. So as a graduate student, for you all, when you all go to the working environment, so try to grab your first job and learn from there before you all fix and decide where you want to move on. Okay, so I just share a bit about the employment rate in Singapore. From Malaysian, there are about 200,000 Malaysian working in Singapore currently. This is include or exclude. This is more to those who are commuting from Johor to Singapore. That means about 200,000 Malaysian who are commuting from Johor to Singapore every day. Okay, they are primarily found in service sector, including healthcare, hospitality, and retail. Additionally, many work in construction and manufacturing. For those who are from Indonesian, there are also about 150,000 who are staying in Singapore and working in Singapore. And a large portion are from domestic worker, which is and others like construction and service sector. So the skill gap here, challenges include poor command of English, lack of technical and soft skill, and insufficient digital skill. This is the skill that we might need if we want to work in Singapore. So as of December 2024, the foreign worker in Singapore, there's a 205,400 employment pass, which is a high skill worker, and S pass, mostly who are with grade degree, and work permit 1,113,000. This is the total numbers. And for work permit with the domestic worker is about 286,300. Okay. Other work permits, work passes are about 28,500. So you can see the total foreign workforce stand at 1.5 million. So I would like to share a bit about economic challenges and what we need to market yourself for a job placement. So develop your personal brand, being your authentic self. Be clear on what makes you different from everyone else. You must have your own specialization. What are the specialty that you can, but other people cannot? So find that in yourself. So that can be a guide for you to improve yourself and make it a guideline for you to meet what you want. So everybody have their own preference, what they want, what they like. Okay, so you might have one, so you choose that and go to the direction. So maintain a strong online presence and demonstrate how your skill will help the company. So what do you need to be more competitive and relevant? So you must leave the comfort zone of the past. Okay, if you think that you are so complacent with what you are doing, okay, I wake up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. If you need to wake up early for work, then you need to be punctual. So that discipline is the key of Singapore. You want to be in Singapore, you must be disciplined. Okay, without discipline, you will keep on getting your tickets. Okay, every time you do mistake, you're smoking at the wrong place, you get someone. You're parking at the wrong place, you get summon. You never follow traffic light, you will get summon. So everything is disciplinary that you might need to grow yourself. So that is the one of the reason why Singapore economy is good is because of their discipline. Okay, and challenge yourself, your views, belief, and set goals. Build meaningful relationship with people. So like from here, we have relationship with Dr. Shukri, Dr. Fajar, and Dr. Shah. So even though we are in a different place, but meaningful relationship can share our knowledge so that we can break any barrier that happen. Keep learning and development curiosity. So learning, there's a no ending, and you need to keep on learning. So to be work in Singapore, what passes do you need? Of course, you need a valid passport, educational credential, transcript, curriculum vitae, and work experience. Even though without working experience, you might apply, but the chances are very rare. That's why what job ever you get, you grab your first job. That will be your base, so that you can upgrade, whether in theories, whether you continue study, or you continue with other job, or you do something different in your current job, so that will become your specialization. So that you, when the interview come, you can tell what you do, why are you so special, so that you can stand outstanding. Okay, so background check and tested document. So you have all the original copies document need to bring down during the interview sessions. So why do you need to be more competitive? If we are competitive, we engage and satisfied, but remain motivated and continually improve. So if we fail at something, we'll be able to use it as motivation and generate more clarity. We cannot be more competitive at something if we don't know what we are aiming for. So the aiming, that what I mentioned just now is important. So where you aim, what you aim is something very important to become a base for your platform. So when you need to prepare and upgrade yourself before applying for overseas job, learn about visa and work permit. So it's a different country, it's a different regulation. So always go through about their visas and work permit procedures. Research of cost of living, how much rental you need to pay. If you get salary like Singapore dollar 1,000, is it enough for you to stay in Singapore? Sure not. Okay. If you want to stay in Singapore, your salary, your cost will be minimum 1,000 already. Then how about your saving? How about your other expenses? So consider how much time also you will have if you travel, especially. So what time you need to wake up? If you are traveling from Singapore to Johor and Johor to Singapore the other day, how many hours you will spend on the road? Example, you are using motorbike or bus transportation, or currently we are working out with the train as well. So you might consider how much time you need to commute, work, and come back. So is it worth for you or not? Is it the money that you convert to Malaysian ringgit or Indonesian rupiah? It's enough or not? Okay, so start building a network and learn about the country and its culture. So there's some courses and skills will prepare fresh graduate to work in Singapore. So of course, language skill. You need to have a language skill, presentation, able to communicate with all level of people, all level of departments, and marketing, communications, cross-culture communication, networking, hospitality, emotional intelligence, analytic, adaptability, problem solving, of course, and management, project management stuff. So these are some of the guidelines for graduates to join and work in overseas. Okay, so I have not much here. Okay. So I think I end up the session. Thank you, Farah. You can take on it.
Um, Great sharing session from Mr. Hasrat. We can summarize from Mr. Hasrat sharing that Singapore has the highest GDP among ASEAN. Also, Singapore has a strategic initiative for their country, and then Malaysians that work in Singapore because they get higher salaries compared to their country, and then have a better career opportunity. But they also need to face the higher cost of living, and then main culture there is they're using English as their main language. Okay. So last but not least, let us now welcome our next panelist, Assistant Professor Dr. Muhammad Fajar Iksan. How are you doing today, Doctor? Sorry, Doctor, we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing fine. I'm doing good. How are you today, Madam Moderator?
Okay. Thank you for being with us. Based on the theme. Oh yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking. Okay. Thank you for being with us. Based on the theme, ASEAN response or to US tariff, is it collective response or piecemeal approach? Can Assistant Professor Dr. Fajar share your point of view about this topic with us?
All right, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank to the faculty, and then Dr. Shah, Dr. Shukri, Prof. Shukri, Dr. Hasrat, and all of the colleagues who are here today. So, as requested by the committee of this session of this discussion today, so they asked me to explore and to discuss about ASEAN response to US tariffs, collective response, or piecemeal approach. So can you put the next slide, please? All right, so I think here's the outline of today's presentations. We will begin with the historical and strategic context of US protectionisms before we examining ASEAN's economic exposure and the varied countries' level responses. And we'll then look at ASEAN's attempted coordinations and assess whether the region's approach is truly collective or fragmented. And finally, we'll be discussing about the implications for ASEAN regional integrations and conclude with policy recommendations. So can you, next slide, please? So let's begin. Let's recall the US protectionism. As we know that Trump's tariff has been imposed by the President of the United States, Trump, and we know that if we recall this foreign economic policy, and we know that this protectionism measure is not new. All right, so the U.S. has oscillated between the protectionist and liberal economic policies for over 2 centuries. So the U.S. tariff and protectionist policies are not new and were not only implemented under Trump administration. So in fact, both U.S. foreign economic policies have historically been based on protectionist models since the 18th and 19th century. And notably in 1828, for example, import tariff reached as high as 45 to 48%. At this level persisted through 1964. And in the 19th and early 20th century, protectionism and import tariffs peaked again reaching about 57% in 1895. So we can see that there was a shift between these approaches in terms of when United States using this approach, it is to protect the national and domestic market from other markets, especially from China and as well as from other countries. So we can see that this is not new. Okay, this is not new. So just don't be shocked with this approach introduced by Trump, because of it is not new. Because of we know that foreign economic policy, U.S. foreign economic policy, since in the 20th century, also gave a more also being a more protective in terms of protecting their market, protecting their productions, as well as protecting their domestic consumptions and domestic consumers. So we know that the shift was marked by the establishment of General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, GATT, and later WTO, which aim to liberalize global trade. So we know the patterns of U.S. foreign economic policy since the protectionism being introduced as the trade weapons by the United States, and then they also introduced liberalism or liberalizations under democracy in terms of liberalize their market as well as to promote the globalizations in the global world. So next slide, please. So here we can see the context of U.S. tariff strategy and protectionism. So this is, it seems like a cycle of protectionism and then the protectionism, meaning that liberalizations of the markets, and then they goes to protectionism, another protectionism. So it means about the liberalization. So this is thus the historical trend in U.S. trade policy that has been a cycle of these three categories in terms of protectionist, sometimes being protectionist, sometimes the protectionist liberalize, and then sometimes they being protectionist again. So we can see the cycle. So this is not new, but the thing is, we should identify and we should explore about the implications and the impacts of this tariff against Southeast Asian market, for example, and other markets, European markets, as well as African markets, and as well as East Asian market. All right, next slide, please. So actually, when we talk about this protectionism, we believe that this Trump's tariff is not purely economic in nature. So there's no single economic theory that can explain about this, about the why Trump used tariff, why Trump imposed tariff to protect the domestic consumptions, domestic productions, why Trump used very high tariffs ever since, for example. So this intertwined with security and political considerations. So from the lens of this international relations as well as international political economy, we cannot say that this is purely economic, but this is purely politics. Okay, this is purely about politics, and then this is purely about geopolitical contestations, as well as this is always also about national security. So basically, when we talk about national security, then we also refer to national interest first. So when we say this national interest of United States, we know that the main thing that Trump wants is to protect their domestic affairs, their domestic consumptions, domestic productions, as well as to put some barriers against other from other traders, for example, from China and from other countries. So therefore, it is understandable that this policy is difficult to analyze using pure economic theory. So that is why I said there is no single economic theory that can explain this, because of we believe that most of the countries, as mentioned by Dr. Prof. Sukri before, we know that democracy has won, especially democracy has become the main principle, the main ideology in the world. So it is also followed by the aggressiveness of trade liberalizations, the aggressiveness of globalization. So we know that we got something from this, but at the same point, U.S. felt that they don't get something that they should get. They don't get something that they're supposed to get. So this is the thing that we should elaborate more in terms of studying or learning about what are the U.S. national interests, and then how this national interests impact other countries too in terms of protectionism strategy. So when we talk about this politics, and when we talk about economy, some scholars also explain this and divide it into two categories. For example, they divided the politics as high politics, and economy divided as low politics. But in this context, we can see that economic or trade liberalizations or trade protectionism or trade barrier, for example, this is also part of political decisions that made by the Trump administrations as well as White House. So we can see that this is not only about economic, this is not only about Trump's ambitions to push and to force China to follow their favor, but it is also about how national interest of the United States has changed to another stages in terms of national security. So here we can also talk about national interest as well as national security as well as economic security. So this is also about economic security. Can you go to the next slide, please? So this is also about the economic security, because of course, we cannot measure the rationality of what leaders. We cannot measure how rational Trump is, for example. So meaning that we should identify this from other perspectives, especially global political economic perspective, or combinations between constructivism theory or other theory that may reflect this situations or this phenomena. So in this context, even allies can be treated as adversaries, as seen in the case of different shoring. So we know that United States also get more benefit actually from especially from European Union, but we know that even though they're involved in one organizations such as NATO, for example, but this not really influence the decisions of the Trump's decisions in terms of imposing more tariffs against European Union markets. So this is what we call as a different shoring actually between US and the EU. So even though they really close in terms of defense pact, in terms of defense alliances, but in terms of economy, EU market also received and also got more obstacles in dealing with Trump's administrations. So can you next? Can you put the next slides? All right. So if we put some points from Michael Mastanduno, as he mentions about the integrations between the national interests as well as national security. So we can see that we cannot separate between economics and security. So that is why we also cannot separate this Trump's tariffs. We cannot be separated in U.S. foreign policy, especially major powers like China too. All right. So we cannot see that. We can see that U.S. policymakers deliberately integrate both dimensions, because of economic also part of the security. Meanwhile, security also part of the economy. So that is why when they use and when he imposed this tariffs, we know that this is also subordinations of economics to security. So this is about national interest, and on the other hand, this is also about national security. And if we go deeper, it is also about economic security. So we should identify one by one and why this, why Trump administrations brutally doing this. And we know that most of the U.S. MNC also suffer with his policy. So we could identify this later. So going to the next slide, please. So this is about the Mastangino research, also about security affects economics, and how economic tools for foreign policy useful for foreign policy. and we know that the importance of economic tools, the importance of the economic conditions is really matter in terms of making your country great again. For example, that Trump always said that, okay, make America great again, make America great again, something like that. So we know that this is always related to their security too, and this is also related to their conditions, their current conditions, which is what they face today is a more deficit from other countries, especially from China. So this is something that he wanted to recover and to escape from this condition. So this is just the framework that we can use to analyze and to identify the U.S. foreign economic policy. Next slide, please. So here we can see if we use realism then to analyze this U.S. foreign policy, then we should analyze from the military aspect, isn't it? We believe that realism always emphasizes explanations on military perspectives, on power perspective. But what kind of theory that can explain about Trump's tariff? What kind of policy? So the United States appears to adopt what we call as an economic realism approach, also referred to econo-realism. So this is the combinations between the economic and realism. So it seems that offensive economic realism, or sometimes we can also say that this is also a part of neo-mercantilist, a neo-mercantilist, a post-neo-mercantilist perspective or approach that being imposed by Trump. So the decoupling, we know that for I think about years ago, in recent years, also the decoupling process between U.S. and China also being put our global economy into a more disruptions way, into more disruptive way. All right. So this strategy, actually, if we can see from China and from US, this strategy is not a long-term attempt to damage China's economy, but rather a form of economic statecraft. So we know that before this, they have dealt with something between China and between Beijing and Washington. They already have a consensus just for a long-term period, for the short-term period, I mean. So we believe that this actually can work because of the negotiations, the consensus, or the agreement between China and United States should be implemented immediately. Because of, if not, then we're going to have what we call as a trade war or whatsoever. So this types of policy actually approach seems to align with offensive realism. So again, this is about the theoretical perspective, theoretical lens that we can use, which argues that states should pursue incremental increases in national power when opportunities arise. So it is explained by Jack Snyder about even though if you have to use economic pressure, then you can use it. So that is the characteristic of realism, and that is the characteristic of economic realism. Next slide, please. So what about ASEAN's economic exposure and trade linkage? So we know that even though United States and Trump's has been postponed for at least 90 days, okay, 90 days. So along with this latest rate adjustment and 90 days postponement, okay, the United States will enter into negotiations with various countries. So for example, like Malaysia, like Indonesia, like Vietnam, for example, they've sent their official to United States to get a deal with Trump directly or with the ministers there. So we know that sometimes it works or it doesn't work well. So we can identify this later. But the tariff reductions to 10% doesn't apply to countries that Trump consider as the worst offenders. So we know that all of our countries being imposed differently, being imposed tariff differently. So in contrast, if we see EU blocks, for example, Trump's put and impose EU blocks directly in terms of imposing all of the Western Europe with the same percentage of the tariffs. Meanwhile, for ASEAN, we didn't get the same tariff. We didn't get the same percentage of the tariff implementations. We got a different tariff. Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam. So we receive and we got a different tariff from United States. So next slide, please. So here, for example, Cambodia was hit with the highest tariff, okay, at 49%, followed by Laos 47% and Vietnam 46%, Thailand 36%, Indonesia 32%, and Malaysia and Brunei Darussalam 24%, and the Philippines 17%. And we know that Singapore and Timor-Leste, okay, East Timor only face the basic 10% of the tariff. So Vietnam agreed to purchase American defense for their negotiations with Trump, for the negotiations with the White House. So Vietnam agreed to purchase American defense. So they said that we want to buy more and we want to purchase more of your defense and security products because of they already being hit with 46% tariff. So for some reason, Vietnam wanted to have more engagement and wanted to have more bilateral discussions with the United States, but unfortunately, it's been a deadlock because of United States did not follow and disagree to this proposal. So the deadlock diplomacy that Vietnam faces today, what we call as a differentiating tool, okay, and then deadlock diplomacy. This is also part of the discussions today. So how can we discuss, how can Indonesia or Malaysia or under ASEAN discuss about this tariff with Trump or with his officer? Okay, so this implies that we don't have any friends actually in this world. When we look at this into a more general in the context of this, meaning that we don't have friends, we don't have we don't have a friends, we don't have a close friends actually. So that is why we should fight together. And next slide, please. And we know that some of the country in ASEAN also use their own strategy. So that is why we can see that Vietnam, okay, top export sector to US, they have electronics, semiconductors. Malaysia also has electronics, semiconductors. Thailand, electronics, automotive. Philippines, semiconductors. Indonesia, agricultural goods. So those goods actually need to be diversified into another market. If we don't get any what we call if we don't get any agreement from the United States, from Trump, so we need to use another way. We need to have another or alternative way to export our stuff and product as well as services. All right, so next slide, please. So this is for Cambodia. They exported garments, footwear. Laos exported electronics, solar modules. Okay, Myanmar agriculture. Brunei oil and gas. Okay, heavily reliant on hydrocarbon export. So these are the notable trends and notes for the that being hit by the U.S. tariff. So next slide, please. So how country responds to this? So we can see that every single country in Southeast Asia or ASEAN, they choose to have a more fragmented approach in terms of dealing with Trump, dealing with White House, for example. So, for example, like Cambodia, that the tariff rate imposed is about 49%. So what about their response? What about the Cambodia response? So higher tariffs in this region pressure to seek alternative markets, and Cambodia tried to seek alternative markets and diversify their trade. So Laos, for example, 47%, significant tariff hits, limited leverage in negotiation, focusing on defensive trade policy. So, for example, like Vietnam, 46%, Thailand, okay, Indonesia, 32%. So we are trying to we are trying to get a deal with Trump, for example. We're trying to approach United States. We're trying to approach United States differently. So every country, they bring their own official, they bring their own representative to United States and to talk and to discuss about this. How can this trade, if this tariff can be reduced or not, something like that. So we ask them. So not only under ASEAN, but also under single country, okay, under single country, for example, like Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Timor-Leste, they're also doing the same thing. They're also doing the same practice in terms of dealing and how to deal with the United States. So yes, we can see that this is the evidence of fragmentations between countries in Southeast Asia, because of we are not being imposed similarly, but we are being imposed differently according to the country, based on the country. So next slide, please. So this is about the fragmentations. Okay, next slide. Okay, so what about ASEAN's attempt to at least cooling down the situations, or just to at least create a great opportunity for the ASEAN market? So Malaysia, we know, as a chair for the ASEAN for this year. So Malaysia led efforts to coordinate a regional response in Southeast Asia towards U.S. President Trump's tariffs. So as Anwar Ibrahim stated, Malaysia's commitment to present a united regional front and maintain open and resilient supply chains and ensure ASEAN's collective voice is heard clearly and firmly on the international stage. So, for example, here we can say that Anwar having a call with Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Minh, for example, Pham Minh Chinh, as well as Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto, who visited Malaysia before this. So we know that they already they already talked and discussed about this, and then they wanted to focus to use ASEAN centrality, ASEAN as the corner of the what we call Prof. Sukri said as a diplomatic magnet, for example. So Anwar, I think he's trying quite hard in terms of dealing with United States to bring the interest of ASEAN into the table, for example. So this is the things that we can elaborate more. Okay, next slide, please. So this attempted, what we can see here is about the Indonesian government decided not to take retaliatory measures. So all or almost all of the ASEAN countries have decided not to retaliate. So, for example, Vietnam has lowered all tariffs to zero, even though that they cannot get any trust from the United States, even though they wanted to lowering the tariff to zero. So the countries are aligning their negotiation strategies, are coordinating through TIFA mechanism. So there are what we call as a trade and investment framework agreement as a mechanism. So we believe that this can also help ASEAN to solve these issues in terms of dealing with the United States. But I personally believe that we cannot use ASEAN as the platform, because of Trump did not see us as one bloc compared to the European Union. What Trump sees us as a single country. So this is the difference between EU and ASEAN. So that is why the percentage of the tariff that being imposed by United States, that being imposed by Trump, are different with other countries. So this is the thing that only have minutes. Okay. So next slide, please. Okay. So here we can see that whether it is collective or piecemeal. So we know that what have been done by ASEAN, what have been done by ASEAN countries individually, actually about hybrid approaches. Okay, hybrid approaches where one country wanted to approach United States directly, and on the other hand, ASEAN under the chairmanship of Anwar Ibrahim also wanted to use the platform of ASEAN. So we can see that sometimes collective, but sometimes piecemeal. But I think the fragmentations is quite close with this scenario today. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, remains collaborative. Okay, so we believe that ASEAN approach remains more collaborative than confrontational. Okay, so it is best described as a hybrid between piecemeal and collective. All right, so next, please. So this is all right. So the implications, I think I will skip this. Skip this one. Just to cut. Skip this one. Okay, so I think some recommendations for ASEAN. First, we have to strengthen ASEAN collective bargaining power. We should know our strength, our weaknesses, as well as our opportunities and threats. Okay, like SWOT analysis, like usual. So, and then leverage multilateral instrument and frameworks. Okay, next slide, please. Institutionalize ASEAN economic diplomacy. So you have to strengthen your internal, the ASEAN internal market, ASEAN internal, what we call ASEAN internal conditions. Okay, and enhance strategic communications and regional solidarity, gaining more trust, building more trust among ASEAN member countries. All right, next, please. Okay, build ASEAN economic resilience, of course, because we know that we face what we call as the age of uncertainty. So meaning that we should put and we should be more resilient in terms of protecting our market, protecting our ASEAN market. And then number 6, promote inclusive dialogue between ASEAN states. Okay, good. That will be the recommendations. Next slide, please. Okay, so the last one, monitor and evaluate U.S. domestic political development. So always look at this and always observe the U.S. domestic political developments, whether how long this could be, how long this tariff could be implemented by the Trump administration. So that will be the things that we should evaluate and monitor every single day. So next slide, please. So I think this is just for the conclusion. So we know that the approach is about a hybrid approach, collective and piecemeal. All right, and then we should strengthen our foundations, our ASEAN foundations, as well as our identity as ASEAN, ASEAN centrality. All right, so I think that's all from me. Over to you, Madam Nurfara. Thank you so much.
Okay. Alright. Such a meaningful sharing session from Assistant Professor Dr. Iksan. We can summarize from Assistant Professor Dr. Iksan sharing that the tariff is not a new thing, but America choose to increase their tariff to protect their market. So there is a cycle that includes protectionism, liberalize, and deliberalize it again. This policy relates closely with political matters. The US adopts an economic realism approach. Deadlock diplomacy also does not guarantee that countries close to US will enjoy any economic benefits. Nations will lead the coordinations of regional response by discussing with Indonesia and Vietnam. Hybrid approach is applied for this approach. Okay. Thank you for sharing, our panelists. Now we will move on to the Q&A sessions. Alright everyone, this is your chance to take the conversation further, get answers straight from the source, and maybe even spark a little friendly debate. Now let's open the floor for questions from the audience. Are there any questions or comments related to the points raised by our panelists? As a reminder, please type your questions in the chat box or raise your hand if you'd like to ask your question live. I will moderate the Q&A sessions and direct your question to the appropriate panelists. Okay. Okay, you can open your mic to ask our panelists the questions.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Danish Alif from Negeri Sembilan, Malaysia. So I would like to ask something on the regarding the workers in Singapore. Is there any bias regarding foreign workers in Singapore based on language, such as there is a higher English proficiency among Malaysians compared to the latter?
These questions can be taken up by Mr. Hasrat. You may answer this shortly and precise.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. So, bias. What does bias mean about? Bias in terms of work or bias in terms of communication? So the question is about communication, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But for me, I suppose that there is also bias in the workplace.
Yeah. So take Malaysia as an example. When foreigner came to Malaysia and work, they don't understand bahasa Melayu. How is their bahasa Melayu in Malaysia? Very simple. As long as you all can understand, you all can follow, you all can execute, then that's good enough. So for Singapore also, it's the same thing. But the thing that I informed just now, the discipline, on time to work, able to finish your work on time, able to meet your productivity. So that's the things that to be more focused rather than the English language proficiency, because you're not going to present up level management. You are working as a technician, admin staff. If you are an executive or a manager, you will communicate with your downline. So it's an average language proficiency. It should be good enough for Singapore level. Does I answer your question?
Okay, comprehended.
Okay.
Thank you for your insightful answer, Mr. Hasrat.
Welcome.
Okay. So one of our participants asked a questions. What is Malaysia's vision as the ASEAN chairman for 2025 in ensuring sustainable regional unity in the context of cultural, political and economic diversity among ASEAN member states? I think this question is suitable answer by Dr. Shukri. You may answer this shortly and precise. Okay. I open these questions to other panelists who would like to answer.
Madam Moderator, what was the questions again?
The question is, what is Malaysia's vision as the ASEAN chairman for 2035 in ensuring sustainable regional unity in the context of cultural, political, and economic diversity among ASEAN member states?
Yeah. To me, I think I believe that Malaysia will follow whatever stated in the agreement in the framework of ASEAN Charter, for example. And then we also have so many communities in terms of ASEAN economic community, for example, ASEAN political and community, something like that. And then ASEAN cultural aspect, something like that, cultural community, something like that. So I think basically Malaysia under Anwar Ibrahim, he will follow whatever stated, whatever agreement stated in the ASEAN Charter, as well as under other frameworks. So in terms of leaderships, meaning that Anwar Ibrahim or Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, he should maintain the collaborations and building trust in terms of between member states, between member countries in the ASEAN. So he needs to focus on implementing his program by giving directions or any what we call any issues. For the issues, for example, for here, we know that we face this new challenges in terms of tariff, for example. So tariff also part of the economic, also part of the system, also part of the sustainability, because of if tariff being imposed again towards us, and we know that we cannot export more products, and if we cannot export more products, meaning that we have to close our factory, we have to close our firms, for example. So this is always related each other in terms of economic, in terms of cultural, in terms of society. And what we have to know, what we have to see now is about the implementations. Okay, the implementations and the what we call visions of Anwar Ibrahim as a chairman for ASEAN in this year. So meaning that the recent challenges are, I think, about how to build more trust. So because of we know we still have existing conflict in Myanmar, for example, Rohingya case, for example. So this is the things that he should manage with his reputable what we call background, with his reputable what we call organizations, for example. So he needs to put this on the table in terms of by gaining more attention from other member states, and then to let and to implement other programs or other frameworks, including sustainability frameworks or other frameworks that relevant with it. Thank you.
Thank you for your insightful answer, Dr. Iksan. Is there any questions that our participants want to ask? You may paste in the chat box. I think there is no question from our participants. Okay. Thank you to our three panelists for sharing such an impactful and knowledgeable answer. Now, yes, Mr. Hasrat.
Since there's no question from the participant, I would like to ask a question from Nur Farah as a representative from UITM. So, what are your vision and mission to ensure the career readiness once you are finishing your studies? You want me to repeat the question?
Okay.
You may answer in Malay as well, no problem. So, what is your expectation? I make it easy. What is your expectation once you finish study? You want to work, or you want to continue further study? Want to focus on family or getting married? We are not sure, right? So, what's your vision after you finish your study? What's your expectation so that we can have a understanding on the career readiness of a graduate student?
Okay. Um, for now, actually, I am a part 5 student of corporate administration. So, I will apply my intern for in August. I will answer your question in Malay. Okay, pardon me. Okay, visi dan misi saya untuk 5 tahun ke depan, saya akan cuba untuk dapatkan license secretary from SSM. At first, mula-mula saya masuk, saya sambung degree, saya nak ambil Master of Mocha, tapi ada limitation in cost. Jadi I think kalau ambil license secretary tu lagi preferable for now. Okay, and then for 10 years maybe I akan cuba untuk jadi the certified license secretary. For now I tak ada fikir lagi nak into marriage. Am I answering your questions, Mr. Hasrat?
Yeah, thank you, Farah. So that's the thing that we want to see from all the participants today, where you have your own mission for the past future 5 years, and this program can give a good benefit where it's provided by Dr. Ahmad Shah and the team, where he put a lot of efforts to bring Dr. Shukri, Associate Professor from Jakarta, our third panelist, and myself from Singapore to give some input to the graduate students. So I hope this is a good platform, and I think it might be a good opportunity for you all as well. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Alright. Alright. Maybe is there any closing from Dr. Ihsan? That closing speech from Dr. Ihsan before we end our webinar?
I think, yeah. Thank you for inviting me for the sessions. It has enlightened us about ASEAN, the historical perspective of ASEAN from Dr. Shukri, from Dr. Hasrat too, from the Singaporean perspective, for example. So I believe that this will help and can assist the students, especially FSPPP, if I'm not mistaken, okay, to gain more knowledge and to gain more experience about ASEAN, experience about and experience about knowledge about ASEAN, knowledge about Singapore, as well as other things. So thank you so much for having me.
Now we have reached the end of our webinar. Through insightful discussions and analysis, the webinar seeks to deepen our understanding of the complex economic integrations and its impact on regional unity in ASEAN, how differences in political systems, governance and human rights among member countries can be both a challenge and an opportunity for growth. At this point, I hand it back over to our MC Afika to guide us through the next part of the program. Thank you.
A big thank you to the moderator and panelists for such a great discussion and sharing their insight on resilience and sustainability. We would like to express our gratitude to the honored speakers for taking their time this evening, even despite their busy academic schedule. Thank you everyone for being a part of today's program. I hope everyone enjoyed the program. We would like to thank all of the attendees who took the time to be with us. We hope there will be more valuable events like this in the future. Dear audience, we would like to remind all of you to fill in the attendance and feedback of the program by scanning the QR code presented on screen or refer to the checkbox for the attendance link. As the saying goes, to every beginning there is an ending, and now the ceremony has come to its end. Once again, thank you everyone for gracing our ceremony with your presence. We truly appreciate it. On behalf of the organizing committees, I would like to apologize if we have done any mistake throughout the event. With that, our ceremony this evening has ended. That's all from us. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Isai, for project Isai.
Okay, thanks Amira.
Thanks, Dr.
And all
Shah.
the teams from
Thank you
Malaysia.
all for participate here. Thank you, Ms. Samhira.
Thank you, everyone. Good job. Okay, bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Doctor and panelists.
Thank you.